Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
This podcast was created to provide you, our heroes, with new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure.
Our show may not be suitable for young children, but neither is our D&D games.
Tis true.
Our.
Fucking grammar.
This episode is brought to you by our generous Patreon donors. If you do not know, Patreon is a membership platform for creators to build relationships with their most loyal of fans known as patrons. It's a tier-based reward system that allows you to support your favorite creators for as little as $1 a month. In exchange, you are offered exclusive content based on the tier you select. Our most popular tiers being Tier 10 and Tier 3, which we do a monthly game that I take sign-ups and we play. My battery is running low. Shit. Our most popular tiers are our $3 tier, which is our copper, and our gold tier, which is $10. At the $3 tier, you get all kinds of fat loots, and biggest one being joining our show live. And then at the $10 tier, I run a game once a month for our patrons. I'm supposed to draw their names randomly, but right now I just have signups first come, first serve, and then I'll worry about the drawing when I've got too many people to that all want to be available at that time. Which reminds me, our next Patreon game I am planning to schedule for the month of October will be on Wednesday the 24th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I'll get some stuff set up.
Is it going to be a creepy adventure with the heebie-jeebies?
I haven't decided yet. I was thinking about running the Haunt too. Do you remember when we ran the Haunt, Ian? Yeah. I talked to Phil. And he's going to be releasing the Haunt 2 here in a couple days. So he'll probably get us a copy because I asked him, if he would be interested in letting us, run it for one of our games here at the house, which I think I've briefly talked about.
Yep. As
well as maybe running it for our Patreon game. So I'm really excited. I love the first Haunt, and I'm excited to run the second Haunt.
Tate says, is it a costume party too?
I'll see why not.
It could be. I don't mind dressing up for Halloween. That's fun. That would be a good thing. That would be a great thing for the show, wouldn't it?
No, that's bullshit.
Why?
Because the last time you guys said that, no one dressed up, and I did.
It was hotter than hell, and that wasn't a Halloween party. That was our episode 50.
That was our birthday episode.
Oh, see, I don't even know. I'm confused.
That was our birthday episode, and it was in November.
All my stuff was tucked in the corner, but I was hotter than hell, and
stuff.
Yeah. You guys make sure you're keeping up with chat, because I can't really
Yes,
see
I would love to wear my bar wench outfit again.
Your bar wench?
Yeah, that's what Tate calls it.
Everyone loves that shit. I totally got derailed there. So Patreon is the great advantage of so if you want to become a patron, support us for at least $1 a month. We got some cool stuff on there. We got some monster stat blocks from some of the monsters. We're trying to work through our backlog since we started doing that. I'm not very good at that. I actually finally passed that off to Ian.
I'm making some progress.
Yes, now we just got to actually share those to the patrons because you've made a couple since then and I haven't shared them yet. So I will make sure to try to do that this week. But yeah, if you think our show's worth at least $1 a month for 4 episodes, please become a patron. Join our Discord, all that jazz.
What's up, Sam?
$1.
Sammy.
It's like, Brandon. What?
Swain. So with that being said, I would like to welcome our newest gold tier patron, which is Cody. Oh, I'm going to fuck his name up.
Fredrickson.
Is it Frederick? It's not. It is clearly Fried. Fried Richson.
German,
oh. Fredrickson. Is that right? That's a little too much Russian, a lot less German.
That's way Russian.
Whatever, I don't give a fuck.
Very Russian.
Anyway.
Read chat for context. Damn it.
Asking him to read is a very big...
what did they call a male
Did you say that? Did you say that?
What?
Swain.
He says I'm right.
Yeah, well, the fact that he thinks Ian's right...
Whoever said it first, that was me, Fredrickson.
Okay, well, whatever. Y'all suck.
Motherfucker.
So welcome our newest gold tier patron, Cody Fredrickson. We hope you will join one of our upcoming games. Like I just said, the next Patreon game as of this recording will be October 24th on a Wednesday. If you don't know, they alternate every single week. Also, I'd like to say, as a reminder, next week is our Patron Pals game for our silver tier and up members. For an hour before the show, we actually get together with your patrons and we stream and we chit chat. And
did your wife bring
my
baked
wife
goodies?
just brought baked cookies. Sorry, guys, the stream's canceled. We got to get some cookies.
Cookie.
This is fantastic because, we're live and eating stuff is a good way to communicate with mouthfuls. Thank you, baby.
That's quite nice of you.
Oh, and you guys got to sign those before you leave.
Yeah.
So there
Sign
you go.
my
Have
ass.
a cookie. Look at this shit. This is delicious. Is this buttercream? Oh, she left. Just excuse me while my fat ass feeds myself something.
This is why he's so big. Wes was like, yeah, I tried to lose weight. He's like, why aren't you losing weight? Because my wife keeps baking me shit.
Oh my god.
It's true.
Oh, it's so good. No, she's not gonna come on the stream for a cameo. She's here to make me stuff and clean my house, and that's pretty much it.
That's what Cody says. Like, I don't know all the voices yet. And Tate says, after this episode, Cody, you'll hear them in your head all the time.
We stay with you. Damn, the cookie got stuck in my throat. Anyways, done derailing. Yeah, right. That's kind of our stick. Yeah. So yeah, if you can't afford to become a patron or you don't want to dedicate yourself to $1 a month, there's other ways you can support our show. Brandon takes commission art, which is also going to be a Patreon reward. I think I'm going to make that for a silver and gold tier reward because it's actually officially not a reward yet. And we need to give more stuff to the Patreons at those levels. So that should make your job a little easier. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm way behind.
Yeah, you need to get caught up.
Yeah, that's why I got a job.
It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have, though, right? But you need to take care of your customers. Anyway, so you can get Brandon's full color body art for $20, which is a fantastic deal. So if you ever wanted to get your character made, he'll make it right for you after he gets caught up with everybody else in his backlog. There's not that many. It's like 4.
There's let's see.
He don't even know.
Severed has 3. Gabe has 3. Well, I'm really sure that they just kind of bought in on the sale last minute just so I could have characters in the future
for a cheap discount. Yeah.
And then Jerzo has a traditional media art, and I actually have to mail that out to him when I get it done.
Apparently, it'll help you clear your jizz backlog. That's what that says, right, jizz?
I'm pretty sure you're meant to say is.
Maybe. Or his. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway.
Jay's next to the HK, so...
Oh, Cody's only on episode 60 or so. Dude, you have a huge collection to get through, boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6. Yeah, he was right.
He's talking about when you were having a kid.
That was back in December.
You should have seen him. He was huge before he pooped that shit out and dropped the load. Anyways.
What?
So thank you for supporting our show, Cody, and of course to all our patrons. I also am going to add a new reward to the gold tier. Yeah. It doesn't really affect us here, but when the show records, I want to put a credits and put tier 10 people, and that rolls at the end. That's a cool feature of Streamlabs that I figured out. So that'll probably be on there too. Cool. It'll show every episode that releases. You know how it's just a video when it releases on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Not this video that they see, but when our episodes release, it's not the video. But I'm gonna make the credits roll repeatedly. So anyway, that being said, thank you so much for supporting our show. We want to thank you for joining us today here at Crit Academy Studios, where everything's made up and your rules don't matter.
Ian dropped the ball.
Oh, I didn't know who was doing it.
What?
Yep, that's right. Your role's like a timekeeper without an hourglass. Nothing in a cookie.
So actually, Cody, damn dude, that's an interesting idea. He says he would not be opposed to an auditory credit roll read by Lee. And it's actually Leah, just so you know. I don't know. I can find out. He does have a sexy voice.
I miss Lee.
Yeah. It's hard when you're in Australia. We got really good supporters that are from Australia, but you never see them on the live stream because they don't.
Because they're in Australia.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's really exciting. That's a funny joke. I forgot he read the timekeeper one. No, anyway. We have a really great show for you guys today. But before we get into our show, we like to start But before we get on to our topics, we like to start the show off on a high note, and we do that by giving away fat loots, compliments of our sponsors. Brandon, who's our winner today?
Our winner today for our first Goblin Stone adventure would be Phantom Enigma 10. When it comes crashing down.
It comes crashing down and it hurts inside. You gotta take a stand and don't have to hide.
Wow, it took us forever to get to that.
And that's where Cody leaves.
You just described. Oh, I'm done. Shit. What was his name? Congratulations to Phantom Enigma 10. You are this week's winner. If you enjoy the adventure, please let Goblinstone know by leaving him a review and telling him what you like and what you didn't like to help him improve his product moving forward. We got a really great show for you guys today. We got a question from patron Charles. It's so funny. He just submitted this to me today, so I changed it with the one that was there. And he's like, I wanted to post this on the wall, but my wife watches the show and follows you, so I didn't want her to see it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to use this. Should I still give you credit? He's like, it'll be all right. So I'm excited for that. Our main topic today, we are finishing up our Midgard Heroes Handbook class analysis on the Wizard, and we've picked only one archetype from the Wizard because the other one we got isn't released yet.
That's right.
Yeah, Kobold Press has given us permission to do a class analysis on one of their upcoming Deep Magic Wizard archetypes called the Timekeeper. So I am super stoked with that. In addition to that...
Time phrase!
Oh my god. In addition to that, Wolfgang Baur mentioned he would be free sometime in November for an interview. So
Here's hoping.
I'm super excited. Did one of you fucking burp? Jesus Christ, it's rank! You can't point at it. Did you both? Oh, it's nasty. It's like a... Oh, man, it's like a dumpster. Anyway, where was that? So I'm really excited to have, hopefully have Wolfgang Baur on. He seemed really interested. He just said with the new Kickstarter that's going on, he's super busy. So, yeah, you did, Ed. It was mostly me just shaking my big old titties, so I wouldn't really say it's a dance, but you know how it goes.
It was quite what's the word I'm looking for?
Milkshakes.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours, and damn right, it's better than yours, and I have to...
I'm not thinking about the prison clip from Family Guy.
Do it.
Okay. No, I did not say
My milkshakes bring all the boys to the yard.
I just think maybe their breath needs, 10 toothbrushes. My audio... Oh, dude, don't do that. What is wrong with you?
Ian,
Many things.
why'd the chicken cross the road?
Because there was a beat on the other side?
No, to get to the little bitch's house.
What the... What?
I don't know.
That is a terrible... Of all the chicken cross the road jokes, that's the best you got. That deserves like a fart in your face for that was so bad. I really have to shit myself.
Knock, knock.
No, fuck no.
Knock, knock.
No.
Come on, knock,
No.
knock. Knock,
Who's
knock.
there?
It's the chicken!
Oh my... I figured out where the chicken was going. Anyway,
Yeah, you little bitch.
no, I did not compare my wife's cookies to Taste of a Dumpster. My wife is an amazing chef. Anyways, so we got a really great show for you today. Our main topic will we already talked about that.
Yes,
and of course, we have our Honor tips and tricks where we bring you new and reusable material for both players and DMs. But before all that, we have In the Realm. Let's make you each get 1 minute to talk about what's going on in your realm. So make it interesting, okay? Wow, those cookies must be giving us gas.
Oh, man, that smells like shit. Yeah, see how that feels?
Hey, Brandon.
What?
Hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. What's going on in your realm? Ian, what's going on in your realm?
Not bloody much.
Oh,
Okay,
you're an
Brandon,
asshole.
what's going on in your realm?
Okay, so let's see. My realm, I have a job interview this next Friday for a new job that has a smaller.
Do you change your underwear as often as you change jobs?
Yes, a smaller
Thanks for the
workload.
smell.
So hopefully I can.
Oh my god.
Why am I doing this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm working 7 days a week right now, and I'm tired of that. So
How long have you been working 7 days a week?
Huh?
How long have you been working 7 days a week?
4 months, 3 months.
Really? That long? Have you even had a job that long?
Well, fuck you.
Well, I know that I've been going on over 100 days. And I know you were unemployed when I was working 7 days.
Yes, I'm aware of that, but I have the option to change jobs, so I'm going to.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Where are you applying?
It's some
Quickie
place
Mart?
called ZF. I don't know. It's some place that requires electrostatic discharge experience. I got that from next year, so
Do you still have your SD shoes, or do you use straps?
they said they use straps.
Cool.
I don't know why they want to use shoes.
What are you going to build there?
I don't know.
You
And
apply
see-
to a job and you don't know what they do?
That's what the interview's
It's
for.
a manufacturing thing. It's a factory, just like any other place.
So you don't know what comes out of the factory? Like, that should be like the number one thing. Hey, I'm going to go work here. What do they do? I don't know. Well, it sounds
The
exciting.
description sounds good, so I went with that.
What shift they going to stick you on?
Third, I hope.
Oh, you hope?
Yeah.
Which means he's going to disappear for a while, so I'm going to have to find a replacement.
But he currently works thirds.
I currently work third.
Yeah, but he can't guarantee he's going to be on third. He had to work a long time to get to third.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyway. So that's really interesting, Brandon.
Yeah. Hey, Ian, what's up in your realm? You said not much, but I'm pretty sure there is something.
yep. Now about the most exciting thing that happened was like this for a while for this past week. My internet was not working at all.
Ooh.
So other than I would occasionally for a few minutes here and there get a connection, but then it would stop. And I basically called Comcast saying, "Hey, my internet's not working. And before you put me through the list, I already did this, and this." Wow. Okay. Did you try plugging your computer directly into your modem? No. I did that, and then I got a connection back. So my router what's the problem then? And I ended up fixing it though by doing a factory reset on the router, and so far it's been working just fine since then. So yay!
Awesome. Congratulations. That's exciting.
I felt smart.
Me too.
Okay, so Justin, what's going on in your realms?
No one cares.
It's true.
Actually, Sam, I was just mostly using wireless for my phone and tablets, and my PS4 and PS3. My computer, though, I directly plugged into the router myself with a cable. So yeah,
PlayStation peasant.
I just bought a PlayStation, I tell you. Of course
Yeah, you downgraded. What the fuck?
I didn't downgrade. They didn't have Spider-Man for the Xbox, so I went and bought a PlayStation 4.
What's the number one thing you say when we're playing Rocket League and we see someone on a PlayStation?
PlayStation peasant.
PlayStation peasant.
That's not going to change. Now I'm just a peasant on the weekends.
yeah, I may have a PS4, but I'm still PC Master Race.
Yeah, well, you're wrong.
Oh my god.
I built mine.
There's an Easter egg in that game.
Which one?
The Twin Towers Easter egg?
I thought that was,
What game?
Spider-Man.
Oh,
I thought that was debunked.
What?
I thought that Easter egg was debunked.
In Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know what Easter egg you're talking about. I've run into the Empire State Building and I've run into the Chrysler Building. I haven't seen any other iconic ones other than
If
Avengers
you
Tower.
go-
Where the hell are the Avengers while the city's under attack? By the way.
I don't know. But if you go to Ground Zero on the map, there is a skyscraper that's still standing. When you climb that skyscraper, you'll see the reflection of the Twin Towers on it.
That's baller. I'll have to check. Or did you say that was debunked?
I heard it was debunked.
Yeah, we're gonna have to edit all this out because nobody gives a flying fuck. So I've been trying to brainstorm a lot of new ideas for like patron rewards and stuff like that. And I came up with a good idea. And actually, I probably should save it.
Pinup calendar.
I think I'll save that for the patron pals. That's more of a patrons pals discussion. So next week's our patron pals, first of the Sunday of the month. So come join us if you are silver tier or higher.
Oh my god.
It's delicious, isn't it? All that little white creamy stuff all in your mouth. It's delicious. So what has been going on in my life? So yesterday, my wife and I and her sister and her fiance went to a New World orchestra. It's like a branch off of Distant World, which is a Final Fantasy orchestra.
I've been to that one.
Did you like it?
It was years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, I went. This one's a little bit smaller. I think there was probably only like 15 people there, but it was still amazing. It was gorgeous music. Alicia doesn't even play Final Fantasy, and she really appreciated it because that music is awesome.
I'll admit though, as much as I enjoyed the Final Fantasy concert, I did have some nitpicks here and there, but that was just me being, well, you did that wrong.
Yeah, well, you know. Anyways, so I really enjoyed that. I had a real big blast.
Like, my big thing was, like, One Winged Angel does not sound the same with a high-pitched high school choir.
Yeah, probably not.
It does not. It's like this doesn't sound menacing at all.
Like they didn't have any choir, so it was just like the orchestra. But anyways, so that was really fun. I had a blast. I can't recommend it enough. Because of that, I now want to go the next distant world that shows up in Chicago. I'm gonna want to go. So also, my wife and I bought tickets to a murder mystery up in Frankenmuth, the Bavarian Inn. So I'm excited to go to that too. So
It was me.
I think that'll do it for In the Realm. Brandon, if they'd like to visit other realms, how can they do so?
They can go to our website at criticacademy.com, and we have a link there to go to Audible, where you can sign up, and you can get a free book with a 30-day trial at Audible.
That's free.
That's free.
Did you say our website or their website?
Our website.
Fucking nailed it. I wasn't listening, so I need
Obviously.
You never listen to me. Tate says, I would expect a refund check with that calendar.
No.
We will pay you to take it.
Oh my God, Sam. Yay, an actual scheduled topic for Patron Pals. Actually, if you recall, the text of that is you're supposed to bring the topic. So if there's not one, that's your fault. Actually, no, after the last one I started writing. Thought that would be a good idea to write one.
Talk to our fans like that.
Why not? Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a dickhead. They've just learned to accept it. It's part of life. Welcome to prison. Anyways, so that'll do it for In the Realm.
You ever have your shit pushed in?
This somehow just keeps getting worse.
I know, we're really, really bad. It's amazing we have any fans at all.
I'm just amazed it took us this line to get to where we're at. And it's 7:27.
Oh, Jesus. Hey, by the way, nailed it. So moving on to our next topic, we have, moving into our Let's Talk About Blank segment, we have a question from patron Charles K. I am having trouble fine-tuning my combat encounters. Oh, sorry, he's a patron. I'm having trouble fine-tuning my combat encounters.
The fuck is that?
The party is basically a giant glass cannon. If I do encounters for their correct CR, then half of them drop in a hit or two. If I do ones at or slightly lower, they mow right through them like it's no problem. I don't want to just lower the CR and double the HP or something like that. He mentions that the party is a 5th level druid, a 5th level divination wizard, a swashbuckler fighter hybrid, and a 5th level cleric of the grave. What are your recommendations?
Stop killing people.
Okay, so he's having
glass cannons.
that means they have little health but can do a lot of.
I know it. I know what glass cannon means.
Well, how do you? So how would you guys deal with this? Welcome, Savret, by the way.
Oh shit!
Some great answers. Bravo. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Force them to miss more often, I guess.
That's interesting. How would you force them to miss?
I don't know, put shit in the way.
That's not a bad idea.
They can't see you roll behind the screen.
Okay. So maybe some more terrain to avoid their big blast cannon. But then as soon as the enemy goes up and hits them, they're going to die. Isn't that part of the problem? What do you think, Ian?
Well, I always think that when people DM, no matter what you do, you're always going to be fine-tuning no matter what. Because, let's face it, it's dice-based combat. What's going to happen is going to happen, and I'm not quite sure what is going to happen until you roll.
Yeah. Sam makes a great point that because they have a divination wizard, they can really deal with surprises a little easier than most other characters. And I agree. Here's my take, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. The problem that you have is they've put all their resources into being glass cannons, which means all their resources are into doing damage.
Which is okay.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. So they've chosen to build their characters as such that they focus on raw damage. So, in my opinion, they deserve to be stabbed and killed in 1 or 2 shots. No, I'm serious. That's the risk you risk you take.
I saw that coming. I knew you were going to say that. It's like, well, if they're glass cannons, they fucking deserve to die.
That's the risk
they take with that build.
Yes. Now Now, that being said, if you're that concerned about it, there are a few things you could do. You mentioned the terrain, Brandon. Did you get it out?
Yeah.
You mentioned the terrain. Including a lot of terrain, not just for the enemies, but for the players is good because now they have the option to run and hide, duck behind stuff, to avoid that stuff that can kill them in one shot. Personally, I wouldn't nerf the offensive capabilities of the enemies. If they know that they can die in 2 shots, give them things that they can do to avoid doing that or choosing to blow something up. Hey, this guy's next to me is going to stab me and it's going to probably kill me. I'm just going to blow him away and hope I hit. Well, if you don't hit or reinforcements come and they stab that person chose not to take the higher ground. Haven't they watched Star Wars? Everyone knows the higher ground makes a difference. That's a simple example that they can take knowing they've got a weakness. Now,
Great, now think of that one meme. Thanos with a full Infinity Gauntlet versus Obi-Wan with a high ground. Who will win?
if you get in a situation where the characters offensively are so powerful that they just wipe the floor with enemies, great. Let them do that. Throw more enemies at them. Let them consume all the resources, just destroying stuff. And then when they get to the end, have them fight a bunch of little kobolds that just stab them and win because they're all out of resources. No, that's not a really good example. But
Like Cody does say, though, this is a risk they took with this build. They need to employ tactics if they want to survive better.
yeah, and overcome the weaknesses that they have.
Uh-huh.
And that's the way I see it. That being said, it should be your job as the DM to put them in a couple different situations. One where they feel powerful and are successfully clearing your content with ease, but also situations where that power doesn't help. There are some situations where raw power isn't the answer. And you as the DM should look at their core sets of abilities and see what other ways you can challenge them where it's not just about raw power or raw damage coming from the enemy and stabbing them. For instance, I'll use a wizard or a wizard as a glass cannon as an example. The wizard takes the person who picks the wizard knows that I can do a lot of damage, but if I get stabbed, I'm done. If they get stabbed enough, eventually they're going to change out some of those abilities to be more defensive, taking abilities like shield or taking I can't think of any other power utility defensive spells. Druids might take bark skin. When you put them in a situation where they are dangerous and they fall unconscious regularly from being stabbed, you're then going to challenge them to change what they think is necessary. And if they continue to do that, well, eventually they're going to die from it. And you as the DM shouldn't have any remorse for that.
Although it sounds like this party may or may not be trying to constantly shove a circular brick through a square hole.
Well, if you try enough, eventually you can just force it through. The other thing that I think is interesting is that if they are raw power and offensive capabilities, have the time between long rests go a lot longer. So that by the time they get, I think we talked about this in a couple different episodes. Specifically, I don't actually think Cody's to this one yet, but talking about the one where we talked about
that one thing.
Yeah, the one thing. What is the thing? The one thing. The climbing the goddamn. It's in the style of campaign themes or styles or something. I don't fucking remember.
Narrative archetypes?
Maybe. One of the things you can do is stretch out their resources so they can't take long rests. They don't get that opportunity, so all their oomph is gone when they get to the top of the mountain.
I think he's trying to not kill them.
The genres of encounters that we
covered. but what that can do is it can reflect that it can force them into situations where they need to think of other ways to solve their issue with not getting stabbed. Right? Because once you stab them a couple times, they fall under. They're going to start automatically realizing that
this isn't working
out, and they're going to have to alter either their strategy or their builds or both, a combination of those. But if you put them in a situation where they have to now say, okay, I'm out of resources, I'm already weak. If I fight this guy, I'm doomed. They're going to have to start taking that into consideration when they continue in their campaign, right? Because they may not have had that challenge yet where, okay, I just nuked them. Oh, that's great. Cleared it. This is working for me. I'm going to keep doing it.
Yep.
What do you think, Brandon? If you were that player that built this glass cannon and you knew the risk, you know that you in one shot you get knocked unconscious, would you be upset at the DM for a situation like that, or would you realize that is how you designed your character?
I would not be upset at the DM or myself because I don't think I'd make such a character.
I did.
Because if I knew the rest of the party was making glass cannons, I wouldn't make a glass cannon.
That's a really good point. Actually, Sam points out a couple other good spells that are good, like Hero's Feast, any type of healing spell. Bless. Bless and Bane are really powerful things. Like, if you start stabbing them a lot and they're getting their asses kicked because they know they can't get hit, that could encourage a cleric to take the Bane spell to reduce the number of times they get hit.
Good call.
So I agree with that. Silence can help with people that can call reinforcements or can cast spells.
Cricket.
Well, I'm trying to catch up on the thing. The only other thing I could say is if don't pull your punches. You're trying to build encounters that challenge them. The only way to do that would be continually adjusting your encounters on the fly, because the CR system is not flawless.
It is not.
It's not even the strongest system that we've had for counter building.
Or rather, it's not as accurate as it used to be in some cases.
Right. So that requires a lot of decision making on yours. I would say continue doing what you're doing and don't worry that they can fall unconscious because you've stabbed them.
And it's part of the game.
Yeah, and that stuff's built into the mechanics. The other thing you could do is, if you're that concerned about it and you don't want that to happen, consider other challenges that they can't just overcome. I mentioned earlier not being able to overcome the challenges just by blowing shit up. So maybe they get to a situation where they have to outthink something, where they can't just... maybe it's a trap, maybe it's a puzzle, maybe it's something where it doesn't matter how powerful they are. They're not going to get stabbed, but if they fail, they're still going to, end up in a difficult situation.
Or another, what could be a useful tip too, though, is like maybe give some. We discussed environment earlier. Maybe intentionally put in some environmental features that the players can capitalize to their advantage.
Or the enemies too.
Yeah.
See, that's a good one. I like that, because let's say you're fighting on you've got some level 2 characters and they're fighting some bunch of kobolds on the edge of a fiery precipice, and nobody's doing anything with that fiery precipice. Have a kobold grab somebody and drag them over to the fire and throw them in,
Or if you're fighting some X-Wing barbarians that can only melee, I can fly now!
Edge, cliff.
A fiery cliff.
A fiery precipice means there's fire down below. Unless I'm using that word wrong. I just learned that word, so I might be using that wrong.
Are you using words you don't know?
No, I read it. I don't necessarily remember. Precipice is like the edge of something, right?
Yep.
Like usually like the edge of like a big void, like a canyon or something.
But in some way, though, just put in some ways that the players can capitalize on their abilities and their features that could give them a leg up.
Yeah, and in this case, your biggest challenge is you don't want them to die. So if the enemies can do damage to them and hurt them, give them options in the setting where they can do what they need to avoid it, whether it's hiding behind a box, climbing a tree, any of those sorts of things. Because then you've given them the opportunity to avoid being stabbed. And if they don't take it, well, that's on them.
Amazing.
Really long answer.
Yeah, that's how I'm long-winded.
Yeah, we're 40 minutes in and we still have not scratched our main topic.
Whatever. Anyways, so that'll do it for. Well, I hope we answered your question here. Who did I say?
Charles. His name's Charles.
I thought I said Cody.
It's Charles.
Charles K.
Thank you for submitting your question, Charles. If we answered your question, if we didn't answer your question, please let us know. You can send it to the complaint department, and it'll probably get edited down, so you're probably going to want to watch the live video of this. I told him I'd send it to him. I cut it off. He didn't make it. But, hey, Saverick, caps lock is cruise control for cool. So we hope we answered your question. we hope we answered your question. If we didn't, send us a letter to the complaint department at critacademy@gmail.com. All right.
We are getting way too off topic, way too much.
Cruise control for cool.
You never heard that?
No. I'm sorry.
So are you gonna be okay? Do you need to swallow?
I was sick last week.
And you have dirt in your, what is that? Chewing gum?
Yeah, chewing gum. We're gonna call it that.
It's chew.
I use it for work stuff. Thanks.
I have a computer. I don't really use it for nothing. All right, so moving on to our main topic today, we have our Midgard Heroes Handbook class analysis on the Wizard. If you do not know, Kobold Press's Midgard Campaign Setting is a... which will be out of the Kobold Press's Midgard's Heroes Handbook. If you don't know, Kobold Press's Midgard Campaign Setting is a dark world of deep magic, started by Wolfgang Baur and fleshed out by his team. It's flavored with Central European myth and folklore, from the frozen Northlands to its wild steppes, dark forests, and craggy mountains.
Sounds to me like the Witcher meets Vikings.
Yeah, that's not bad. I like that. They also have this really cool feature I've been reading about called ley lines, which I think is really cool. So, we'll have to talk about that someday. You can visit, if you enjoy the topic we discuss, you can pick up the book from koboldpress.com. We also have a link inside of our show notes you can find at critacademy.com. And click the link there to take you right to their awesome item. The Midgard Heroes Handbook has over 200 pages of awesome, including 11 new races in addition to the various variations of existing ones, 40 new subclasses, new feats, new backgrounds, new spells, new weapon options. I can't wait to talk about that. Magical items and monsters and much, much more.
More!
Yeah. It's pretty awesome stuff. And today we'll be talking about a couple of the, one of the wizard traditions, and of course the other one will be a bonus, which is something that hasn't been released yet as of this recording. So we're really excited, so keep an eye out for that. Today we're going to be talking about the arcane tradition, the Dragon Mask.
Dragon Mask.
Dragon Mask.
Sounds a lot like Skyrim.
Okay.
Wizards practice the subtle magic of pulling power from thin air and shaping it to fit their needs. Sorcerers tame the chaotic power within themselves, releasing it in barely controlled gouts of magical eruptions. Mages who walk the path between these two diverse means of magic are called Dragon Magi. Magi? Magi.
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 Hang on, I'm trying to get this right. There, you're good. I got you.
Dragon Magi manifest their magic in a variety of styles, as diverse as the draconic species and the types of magic that populate the worlds.
Did you forget to put in the expanded spell list?
Yeah, it's right there.
I did.
Oh, yep.
The book does come with an expanded spell list, but the spell list is unique to this book.
Okay, that's fair.
So at the end, we're going to discuss a few of the spells that do come in it, but I figured there's no point in going with the expanded spell list because then we'd have to describe every single spell, and I didn't want to do that.
Did you bust ass?
Huh? Yeah, I farted. What? Farted a little bit ago, though. Is it just now getting to you?
Yeah.
Probably did the sneak right out of my cheeks. I felt a little bubble explode.
That's so nasty.
So yes, there is an expanded spell list, and the options come in the book. We'll talk about a few examples of those at the end of the end of the class.
Shit.
Brandon, you want to... Oh, you already read. I'll take this one, and then we'll have Ian take the next one. Or we can just alternate between them, I guess. The very first, starting at second level, you get Invoke Dragon Mask. You can invoke a magical dragon mask. Imagine that. You use a bonus action to spend a spell slot to invoke the mask. So I'm getting the feeling we invoke a mask. You guys getting that feeling?
I didn't get that impression.
Oh, all right.
I do now.
It lasts for 3 rounds per level of the spell slot spent. The Dragon Mask remains as long as you are not incapacitated, until the duration ends or until it is dismissed or replaced with a bonus action. It is a translucent magical force in the form of a dragon's head, which covers your face. Your face is still visible beneath the mask, and the mask does not hinder your vision. While you're wearing the Dragon Mask, you gain the following benefits and drawbacks.
Did you hear that? You get benefits.
Did you also hear it said drawbacks?
Yeah.
See you later, Ed.
He'll be back.
Everyone knows my head is big. My dragon head is big. It's a big dragon head. So the first feature you get is you gain a bonus to your EC. The first bonus you get is an increase to your AC equal to your intelligence modifier.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty baller.
One.
Huh?
Minimum of 1.
Well, that's kind of the default thing. But anyways,
Yeah.
so that's pretty awesome. Brandon, what's that next one?
You gain a bite attack. As an action, make a melee spell attack against one adjacent target. On a hit, a target takes 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier piercing damage. This attack counts as magical for purposes of overcoming a target's immunity or resistance to piercing damage.
Nice!
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You gain advantage on Wisdom Perception checks, as well as on Charisma Intimidation checks.
That's pretty awesome. And any ranged or melee spell attacks you cast while wearing the mask are made with disadvantage. And saving throws against spells you cast while wearing the dragon mask are also made with disadvantage.
Whoops.
Because it does hinder your vision.
No, it hinders your ability to spellcast, though.
Magic.
Made with advantage. I think I said made with disadvantage.
You did.
Okay. And saving throws against spells while you are wearing this dragon mask are made with advantage. So, and then the last one is, as a bonus action, you can spend an additional spell slot to augment your dragon mask. Your next dragon mask's bite attack damage increases by 1d8 per level of the spell slot spent, and you gain advantage on the attack roll. So, just right off the cuff, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, you're bringing spell slots, but you get some buffs in the process. The only disadvantage, though, is it does hinder your spellcasting somewhat, and seeing you're a wizard, that's kind of important.
Seems like quite an issue.
I think the AC bonus is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the first thing that came to my mind. How much on average would you say a wizard has when they have Mage Armor active? 16?
Yeah.
Right. So if you have a +5 modifier, you have a 21 AC. That's like equivalent of like plate and a shield, right?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yep.
That is a hell of a high armor class to have to beat as the enemy. So to me, what this seems like it's doing is turning you into a melee character.
Yep. Just into a melee tank.
Because you're adding 1d8 plus your int modifier, which is essentially, longsword damage.
Yeah.
And because you're adding your int, not like a physical melee strike, like dex or strength, you can have very high melee combat skills.
Yep.
But what's really interesting is it gives you such huge boost of individual spike damage by consuming spell slots.
Yep.
And granting you advantage on those attacks increases the odds that the spell slot's not going to be wasted, which I think is really interesting. Yes. Sam says it seems like at 3 rounds is a bit of a short buff. What level do you get access to second level spell slots?
4? 5?
Because it's actually 3 rounds per level of the spell slot spent.
Yeah.
So when you spend a second level spell slot, it's 6 rounds.
Yep.
So I can definitely see that it for the first level or two it might be kind of rough.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get access to your second level spell slots, it's probably going to last the entire combat encounter. Because I don't feel like that would be that much of a problem. 6 is kind of quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
I would say that's usually about how they run 5 or 6 rounds for me, at least.
Give or take, yeah.
Unless it's a big boss battle. But I definitely see your concern there. But so not that we've kind of talked about the mechanics of it. I do think it's interesting that you have disadvantage on your attack rolls for spells and stuff. It encourages you to use spells that aren't offensive, basically.
Yep.
Right? It encourages you to use other spells like shield. Shield would be a good one. Find familiar. What are some other ones you can think of that aren't really web? Web would be really cool.
Ugh.
They can't escape your bite.
No, not that. Just the fact I'm like, adding shield on top of that 21 AC.
Yeah, jeez, 26 defense, man. That's insane. But anyways, so how do you guys? I mean, obviously this is meant to be like a melee character. The coolest thing I think is that you get to describe how the dragon head looks, right? I could easily see myself reflavoring this from a dragon to something else because I'm dorky like that and would like want to change it up a little bit. But how do you envision this getting the most out of this build or this ability?
Yeah, as you said though, using some like spells that are buffs or debuffs that or support spells some way would definitely go quite well with this. Saying how your regular attack spells will be at a disadvantage in this mode, but
yeah.
It gives you more options to play around with.
Yeah, and it keeps you alive because that I would say even if you didn't use this that often, when you're in a situation where there's lots of enemies and you can easily be hurt, just using this to buff your defense to keep you alive makes it worth it, at least in my opinion.
This would be great for Charles's glass cannons. They need a tank, they can make one.
Yeah, there you go.
You won't have to You don't have tank health though, but still.
Well, if they can't hit you, it doesn't matter.
So-
That's the risk, I suppose.
Yeah.
I really think this sounds awesome.
yeah, but you get hit with a save spell though. Even if you save, you're still taking half.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's still really, really sweet. And if you guys ever watched Bleach, in the anime Bleach,
Yep.
they have the hollowification thing that Ichigo does, where he puts his hand across his face and he drags his hand down, and this mask just forms around him. I kind of envision something like that, and then like bellowing and roaring with this spectral thing around you seems just awesome.
Man, Bleach went off the rails after a while.
Yeah, it did. Sam mentions that it becomes very effective at like 4th or 5th level. I agree, because then the duration's kind of not a non-issue. Brandon or Ian, do you want to take that next one there?
This next feat you get level 6 is for you Sean Connery fans.
What's it called?
Invoke Dragonheart.
Oh God, I get that reference
Oh.
from Dragonheart, right?
Yeah.
That first movie was pretty solid.
Yeah, I didn't see any other ones though.
No, I said the first movie. Starting at 6th level, you can invoke a magical Dragonheart. You use a bonus action and spend a spell slot to invoke the Dragonheart, which lasts for 3 rounds per level of the spell spent. The Dragonheart remains as long as you are not incapacitated, until the duration ends, or until it is dismissed or replaced as a bonus action. The Dragonheart is a translucent magical force in the form of a beating heart, which covers your chest. Nice.
Like armor, almost like Dragonheart armor, right? Is that what that kind of seems like to you?
No!
Yeah, it says over your chest, covers your chest, right? It seems like a thumping, beating dragon armor.
But you don't get armor from it.
No, but it still sounds cool. I mean, I see it just like this thing hovering, floating over top you. Boom, 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 boom.
Alright. And the first benefit you get is you gain a bonus to wisdom and charisma saving throws equal to your intelligence modifier.
That's a big deal.
Yep.
Because stopping, illusions and manipulation of your character is pretty important, especially at higher levels. So that's pretty huge.
Let's see. Next, you gain temporary hit points equal to twice your wizard level. These temporary hit points are lost when your Dragonheart aspect is removed or lost for any reason.
And I want to point out, though, that at this point, there's minimum 12 temporary hit points.
Temporary hit points you gain equal to twice your level.
Yeah. You get to level 6.
And you get
Oh,
at
right.
level
Oh,
6.
yeah. That's a huge one. That's huge for a wizard.
Yeah.
You also gain a breath attack. You also gain a breath weapon attack as an action at a 30-foot long, 5-foot wide line of energy. Acid, cold, fire, or lightning shoots from your Dragonheart in a direction you choose. Each creature in the line must make a dex saving throw. A creature takes 4d6 damage on a failed save and no damage on a successful one. That sucks. That's rough. No damage on a successful. The type of damage can be selected when making the attack. And cannot be changed until a new Dragonheart is manifested. So essentially, you're manifesting this transparent translucent kind of translucent heart that kind of thumps and beats around you, and now you can breathe fire. Now, I do see there's a comment in here. Anytime, so Sam asks if you multi-class in a fighter and action surge, you definitely would be able to do this again. Twice in one shot, I would believe, because that's what action surge does. What I think is interesting, though, is even normally cold is a constitution save.
Yeah.
This still considers it a dex save. I think as a DM, I would change that.
What are you talking about?
When you use the breath weapon, it says they make a dex save.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Traditionally, on all the dragons and on the Dragonborn, breath weapon for cold is con save, not dexterity. So I probably would make that change just because.
We stress that's a house rule.
Yes. Anyway.
And
I don't know, Sam.
And as a bonus action. Wait, did you actually read
Let
that?
Brandon take that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. As a bonus action, you can spend an additional spell slot to augment your Dragonheart. Your next Dragonheart's breath weapon attack damage increases by 2d6 per level of the spell slot spent. And you can add 10 feet of length to the line per level on the spell slot spent. Jesus.
It's like a Kamehameha breath weapon.
Yeah.
Is it really considered a breath weapon if it comes from your chest?
Well, when I read that, the first thing, well, it says you can use your action to breathe, so I'm assuming that it's taking on the form and sending it magically through your mouth. But when I first thought of this, I thought that same thing, and the first thing that came to mind was that Iron Man chest blast
That's what I was
thing that
thinking.
he does.
The Unibeam.
The Unibeam, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So now we have two features here. One that's a mask that goes over your face, and then another one that covers your chest area, and you have to pick between the two, which gives you versatility.
Yeah.
Right? The first one, the mask is all about defense for the most part, with some single person damage, DPR, right? Because it's one attack versus one person.
Yeah.
While this one can hit multiple targets, and you can buff it.
Just to clarify, does it actually state you can only have one of these active at a time?
Uh,
I haven't read that yet, to my knowledge. Because I feel like you can have more than one up at a time. You just have to burn through crap.
it says it right here. The dragon mask remains as long as you are not incapacitated until the duration ends, or until it's misplaced or replaced with a bonus action. So when you use your bonus action to replace it with the other one, so to my knowledge, you can only have one at a time.
I kind of read that, though, as you replace a dragon mask with another dragon mask. That's how I read it as written.
That would be interesting to know. Has any listeners got a second to look that up for us?
What does this have to do with timekeepers?
Nothing.
It's another one. It's not this one.
Huh.
It's Kobold Press. There should be a bunch. Maybe not. I don't know. So I'm not really sure. I take it as you can only have one at a time, but that would be an interesting distinction to know.
Because I could see you having more than one of these at once, but you have to blow through quite a few spell slots to keep them all up. That was my knee-jerk reaction, at least. I'm not saying I'm right.
Right. But that's an important distinction to know.
You're saying as in you can only have a mask or you can have the heart.
That's what we're trying to figure
Where
out.
does it say? Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. I'm not really sure, so maybe if somebody who's proficient in this can help shed some light on that. Because I take it as you use your bonus action to do something else, it's replaced.
Anywho.
Yeah, so Sam kind of agrees. He thinks you could do both, but it does take a bonus action, so you would have to do it consistently.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that sounds really awesome. I love that you can beef it up. Once again, I like to reflavor stuff, so the dragon thing is really cool. The chest thing seems kind of weird to me, so I would probably reflavor it as, I don't know how I'd reflavor that. The beating heart thing just sounds odd, doesn't it? Is that just me?
Nah.
I imagine that your armor... well, this is for wizard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get an ethereal-looking plate that surrounds your chest and it pulses every few seconds. That's what I'm thinking. Not like an actual heart, but it looks like armor.
Yeah, see, that's what I was originally thinking, but the more I read it, the more I think it's supposed to be a heart. Like an actual dragon's thump, 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 thump. But it sounds really cool. I love that you went from having the mask, which is more of a single-person damage, to this AoE-style breath attack. It reminds me of the Berserker axe, Berserk Fury from Zoids, where he charges up this attack and then just and wipes the floor with everything. When you breathe fire, since when does it come from your head? Fire comes from the breath. Breath from your chest. Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, I suppose. Whatever.
But it's breath.
I don't care. He's talking about that because it's on your chest that you're breathing through and it's coming up through your mouth.
Tangent.
But to me, I feel like sounds like it would be. Anyways, yes. Okay, whatever. Brandon, you want to take that next one? What's the next feature you get, Brandon?
You get the Invoke Dragon Wings. Starting at 10th level, you can invoke a set of magical dragon wings. You use a bonus action and spend a spell slot to invoke the dragon wings, which lasts for 2 rounds per level of the spent spell slot. Yep. The dragon wings remain as long as you are not incapacitated until the duration ends or until they are dismissed or replaced with a bonus action. While you wear your dragon wings, you gain the following benefits. Your speed increases by 10 feet, and you gain a fly speed equal to your walking speed.
Nice.
That's pretty good. You also gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical sources. Rage.
Yup. You gain advantage on any melee or ranged spell attack rolls.
Melee.
Ooh.
The opposite of the mask.
Yeah. Could that offset it?
If you have them both at the same time, yeah.
Yeah.
As a bonus action, you can spend an additional spell slot to augment your dragon wings. Until the start of your next turn, you can add 5 feet of additional speed per level of the spell slot spent. Additionally, you can choose one creature per level of the spell slot spent within 10 feet of you. Any ranged attacks against those creatures are made at disadvantage.
Nice.
Oh, this is so cool.
So you got a party buff there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's a pretty good feature.
So now we've got these mystical wings that that appear behind us, engulfing, the whole field, just looking freaking badass. Not only does it grant you flying, but gaining advantage on melee or ranged spell attacks is huge. You play Final Fantasy, I'm a big Bahamut guy.
Yeah.
So I definitely would find a way to incorporate some of the descriptions that I've seen Bahamut use, but maybe find a way to, like, it says that increases your effectiveness in melee and ranged. How would you do it? I would see, like, if I cast, like, Firebolt, for instance, I would, like, have it, like, beat his wings and, like, a blast of this bolt of fire shooting out of my wings like freaking Archangel or something.
I should.
What?
What do you guys think about this? How do you see it working, flavor-wise, or mechanical?
I'm just picturing, like, glowing wings coming out of your back.
Okay, what about you?
I know it says dragon wings, but I keep thinking of Tyrael.
That's yeah, I can see that. So how do you see it, like, enhancing your spells from a flavor-wise? Like, do you cast Firebolt and it looks bigger, or do you see, like, it beat the magical wings beat and you see energy rush through it and into your palm as you loosen this attack? I mean, it's enhancing your attacks, right? With the increasing your chance to hit.
I just picture somebody going Super Saiyan with wings.
Welcome back, Sam. Once again, so now we've got a mask. We've got kind of a heartbeat, kind of like armor thing going around your body, and now you've got these big wings. You're gradually becoming like a spectral dragon,
Yeah.
it seems, which I think is just awesome. The last feature you get is Invoke Dragon Tail. Starting at 14th level, you can invoke a magical Dragon Tail. You can use a bonus action to spend a spell slot to invoke the Dragon Tail, which lasts for 1 round per level of the slot spent. Wow. They're definitely lasting shorter and shorter, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Dragon Tail remains as long as you are not incapacitated. Until the duration ends or until it is dismissed or replaced with a bonus action, the Dragon Tail is a translucent magical force in the form of a 15-foot long appendage capable of striking with incredible force. I'm thinking Scorpion because I'm playing Spider-Man right now, and this tail just, whacking you in the head.
Yeah, we said the Scorpion at 20th Mortal Kombat.
That's my first thought.
While you wear the Dragon Tail, you gain the following benefits. You are immune to the grappled condition. That's interesting.
Oh. Does that disappoint you?
A little bit. I like grapple. Like, how is that functioning? Is the tail just, like, worming its way between you and the enemy?
No.
Oh, just swatting them away? Oh, there you go. Yeah, the spectral tail, every time somebody tries to grab you, it kind of whacks their hands away. Or whatever limb they're using to grab you with, kind of defensively. That's pretty cool, like a scorpion.
You are proficient with strength and dexterity saving throws, and any skill checks using strength. Oops. Yeah. You are proficient with strength and dexterity saving throws, and any skill checks using strength. In addition, you can use your intelligence modifier instead of the regular modifier for those saving throws and skill checks.
So it's not straight up plus then.
Yes, it's just proficiency bonuses.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is still pretty awesome. I kind of see this like if you're trying to like fight somebody, or let's say like dexterity saving throw, you're trying to get out of the way. I can see your tail just like slashing the ground and creating like a jump effect to allow you to move a little bit quicker. Something like that.
You also gain a tail slam attack.
There
As
it is.
an action, Make a separate melee spell attack on all targets within 15 feet. Nice. On a hit, the target takes 3d10 plus int bludgeoning damage. Targets hit by this attack are pushed up to 10 feet away from you and knocked prone, unless they succeed on a strength saving throw against your spell DC. And this attack counts as magical for the purpose of overcoming immunity or resistance to bludgeoning. Nice!
Wow. That's interesting.
That's kind of awesome.
As a reaction, you can make a tail slam attack against a creature who enters your tail's reach.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
As a reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn. I'll take that last one.
As a bonus action, you can spend an additional spell slot to augment your dragon tail. Until the start of your next turn, your dragon tail slam attack damage increases by 1d10 per level of the spell slot spent. In addition, you heal yourself for 3 hit points per level of the spell slot spent.
Oh, very nice.
So that's interesting. So here we are. We've got this big giant dragon tail. It prevents us from, it gives us advantage on strength and dexterity saves, which is awesome. Whether it's bashing the enemy so they can't grapple us, or it's giving us just a raw strength boost, or we're cracking that tail like a whip and allowing us to launch out of the way a little bit quicker.
I kind of pictured this a little bit looking at the Dragon Head one. I do have things you do, only better.
I do love that it you use your intelligence modifier instead. Once again, showing that kind of magical build.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, you're pretty hung up on size being an issue for some abilities. I've noticed. It's okay, man. It's gonna be okay. Gargantuan creatures can trip too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, though, we do need to figure out one way or another if we can have multiple aspects of it at once.
If you want to take a minute to Google it, have at it. Because honestly, I'm not really sure. Once again, I like the flavor of this because it says you get a tail. It doesn't really say the tail has to be attached to your backside. Like, what if you get like a tail on your arm and you're like have a long tentacle type thing going on? I know that sounds stupid, but I think that would be really interesting. Maybe pull the mask over your hand and treat it as like a shield. So instead of pulling it over your head, you've got this spectral mask on one hand and a tail on the other.
I've seen enough anime to see where that's going.
Go.
So your fighter made a dragon prone at 4th level repeatedly till it died. You telling me it couldn't fly away, even with the person grappling it? I mean, grapple makes your speed 0, I guess, so you wouldn't be able to. But knocking him prone, he should still be able to stand up and fly away. A breath weapon if he's pinned on top of him. Trying to think. I guess it depends on what dragon it is, too. Some have legendary things. Yeah, so if he hits them with... So in order for Sentinel to kick in, they have to actually succeed, right? Wouldn't you just take the disengage action so he can get away? I'm trying to buy time right now, so...
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
I'm not seeing anything popping up.
It doesn't say you can't, so I would assume you can, I guess. Use multiples. Or the dodge action. Anything to help him.
Dodge!
Because you can dodge and move. Increase, reduce chance of not getting hit. But disengage would be better if you take that. And then he could just fly away. Even from prone, a dragon should still be able to get away. Their wings are like their most powerful feature. Wings plus disengage means fuck you, can't keep me down. I get knocked down.
I'd imagine it's got to
get up
be
again. Anyway,
one at a time, otherwise you're burning through spell slots super fast.
But that'd be the drawback, though, of doing that.
Yeah, and so you gain all this power, but it's all temporary, too. I mean, you're talking, this stuff only lasts for seconds. You know what I mean? So that would this is definitely a very offensive build. But what do you guys think about this?
What's that noise?
Which noise?
Never mind.
Yeah, Sam, if your monsters are ever pinned down, unless they're grappled and it makes their movement 0, which if the character is grappling and they're high enough strength to contest and always win, then kudos to the player. Then they're not doing anything wrong. But if the dragon can't get away, and has the option to disengage and just, torch them from the sky, that's really the biggest advantage. When my players fight my dragons, very rarely is the dragon actually on the ground, which makes it very difficult and reduces their overall effectiveness by a lot. Though it also encourages creativity where the fighter has to find out how to get on top of the dragon or some shit like that. But
Job!
so a little more complicated, I suppose, if they're all ranged, but that's part of the counter build.
They're right over there. Let's get them. That's a long jump.
But anyway, so overall, what do you guys think about this? I mean,
do you have the PDF of?
I do. Of course, I do. This is copied right from the PDF verbatim.
Okay.
So I didn't shorten it or anything, which is why I got to delete it when we're done, because it's verbatim.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it doesn't say if you take on invoke another aspect, or it would, I would think.
I mean, some sections seem to imply it, but never said it either. Know what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes, Sam, that's how it goes, man. Lessons learned, bro.
Yep.
So would you guys run something like this?
I would give it a shot.
Because I know you traditionally don't play like the wizard spellcaster types.
No. But it seems fun though.
Maybe.
Maybe?
I mean, to burn through your spell slots only for a few seconds, even though it gives you that big ass boost.
But also keep in mind though that you're a wizard and you have way more spell slots than anything else.
Yeah. Because really, let's assume
How many spell slots do you get?
Well, it depends on what level you are.
More than either class at their respective levels, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think at level 3 you have 4 first level slots. Is that right? Might be level 4.
I don't have the book in front of me.
It's at level 3 or 4 you get 4 first level spell slots.
I don't have the book in front of me.
And some second levels. I do. I have the book right in front of me. All I gotta do is click this button here, open this up, and click it.
But my point remains. I think we're getting a little bit hung up on this.
Well, it's important. We got a nasty gram from somebody about being inaccurate in some stuff. My shit's opinion anyway. So at 4th level, you have 7 spell slots at 4th level.
Yeah.
Right? At 20th level, you have 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 18, 22.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay.
But archetypes don't deal with stuff at level 20 though.
Yeah.
With the wizards, so that's for you, Sam.
All right. So honestly, I love this idea. I love this character. As a player who likes to take freedoms, I would change some of the stuff. Like, I would easily see that instead of it being, dragon aspects, like taking on any other sort of creature aspects and just reflavoring them, which I think would be fun.
Yeah, reflavoring. Yep.
You could easily reflavor them as weapons too, Nothing says it has to be a dragon head over your face. It could be like a spectral shield that forms on your arm, right?
True.
The tail could be just a really long, sword or something, or a whip or something along those lines. And I think that gives this a lot of flavor and a lot of utility and a lot of fun. The wings, I totally make like jetpack boots.
Gundam wings.
Jet boots. Gundam wings. Maybe. All right, so that'll do it for the Arcane Tradition, the Dragon Masks. Our next Arcane Tradition is the Timekeeper, and this actually comes from Deep Magic Time Magic, which hasn't been released as of this recording. So
we get a preview.
You get a preview, so I'm super excited. That also means that some of this could possibly change, though he did say it was pretty much finished.
It's locked down.
A Timekeeper uses seconds and minutes not as a way to measure life, but as a key to great and mysterious power. The tradition of the Timekeepers began in the magocracies of the West prior to the Great Mage Wars. Many Timekeepers find themselves responsible for keeping watch over the Dreadwalkers of the Waste to ensure they are never freed from stasis. Others seek to rediscover the lost spells and rituals that allowed long-gone mages to halt the Dreadwalkers in the first place. So I love this because it really gives us a lot of
Flavor.
Yeah, and tells us about some stuff that I don't know nothing about that I want to. What the hell's a Dreadwalker? I want to know that.
I'm sure you'd know if you read the saying from the book.
White Walkers.
That's the point, right? I like how flavorful it is. It tells you about what they do and who they are, which I think is awesome. Fucking Ed. Ian, would you like to tell us about the first feature they get?
The first feature you gain is the Temporal Savant. Beginning when you select this school at 2nd level, the gold and time you must spend to copy a transmutation spell into your spellbook is halved. When getting a level, you can select a temporal spell, even if you've never encountered it before. Nice.
That's awesome.
You also gain proficiency with clockwork tools. 25 gold, 2 pounds.
Okay. So basically it's giving you access to some new spells, right?
And you get a discount.
Yeah, well, and I think that's kind of one of the first features you get for all wizards, where it cuts something in half, which is pretty awesome.
And you can access temporal spells even if you've never encountered them before.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Right? You want to...
Timepiece would be the next thing.
A timepiece?
A timepiece.
Also 2nd level.
Starting at 2nd level. Also, yeah. Yep. You create a special timepiece that can be held easily in one hand, usually a clockwork watch or hourglass. You can use the timepiece as an arcane focus. Wom, 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 wom.
There's
So
more.
what kind of timepiece would you... Yeah, is there more? Yeah, I
There's
know.
way more.
Well, for this level or that section?
For this section.
Oh, oops. Yeah. You have 2 temporal points. You gain 1 additional point every time you level up, to a maximum of 20 at level 20. You regain all spent temporal points when you finish a long rest. You are unable to spend temporal points without holding your bonded timepiece. You can spend 1 temporal point as a reaction, or a bonus action to gain one of the following effects for 1 round, or spend 2 temporal points as a bonus action to grant a creature you touch one of the following effects for 1 round. You can use a bonus action on your next turn to dash, disengage, hide, or use an object. Your AC increases by 2, or you gain advantage on dexterity checks.
Those are all nice choices.
What do you guys think about
This
this?
is awesome because they all kind of relate to time
Yeah.
It's kind of...
And
I like
that's
it.
kind of the point.
and timing.
Yeah. So Samuel's asking what are temporal spells. So in the Deep Magic Compendium, or the pamphlet, not only do you have the normal classes like necromancy or abjuration, but they in Midgard they have subclasses in addition to those. For instance, Wall of Time is an abjuration. Temporal is a temporal aberration spell. And those are, to my understanding, these are unique to this setting,
Yep.
which come part of the Deep Magic book. So I think this is awesome. You get all kinds of really cool stuff. Basically, you're first of all, what kind of before we get started into that, what kind of timepiece would you guys pick if you chose this wizard?
Pocket watch.
Pocket watch.
Really? Am I the only one that thinks it should be an hourglass?
I'm not gonna pick a grandfather clock.
Hourglass. Grandfather clock. That would be awesome. A grandfather clock? Are you kidding
You're
me?
walking around with this big ass thing on your back. Like, what is that? This is my arcane focus.
Cody gets it. Ooh, a sundial. I like that. And then use the light spell to adjust the time on the sundial. That would be awesome. An hourglass pocket watch. Way to play the middle of the road there, Ed, instead of actually making a choice. So I think that's really cool. That's very unique because there's very few classes I think that really say this item is important to your character. I mean, Wizard has a spell book, but not enough players really give their spell book a lot of love.
Pick the alchemist, you kind of get philosopher's stone. Just saying.
Oh, that's true.
Sam says it's a bonus action to wind the clock.
I love the idea of an hourglass personally. So some of these features are pretty cool. Basically, it represents you speeding up time, right? Increasing your AC means you're probably more evasive. And same thing with advantage on dex checks. You're slightly quicker.
Yep.
That's also why you can use the dash, the disengage, the hide, and the use object as a bonus action because you're more swift and deft. And I kind of would describe this personally as like an after image kind of movement. You know what I mean? Like something out of an anime where you can kind of see a shadow of yourself where you were just like a previous second ago, which is what that kind of reminds me of, which is awesome flavor, by the way. At 6th level, you get access to the feature Extended Magic. When you cast a spell whose duration is 1 minute or longer, you can spend 1 temporal point to double the spell's duration. The maximum duration obtainable is 24 hours.
That's pretty good.
I love this because one of the problems that I hate with being like a wizard is worrying about that I'm going to cast Mage Armor and then it's going to fall off. With something like that, it's less likely an issue, and I don't have to wait till combat to cast it to ensure that I've got it.
Yeah, but Mage Armor lasts for what, 8 hours?
8 hours, but that's not... Like, if you cast it before you go on a venture, great, it'll be probably gone by the time you get into a dungeon, but if you wait till you're in a dungeon, something's probably already stabbed at your ass by the time you get there, so... But that might just be me, the way I play, personally. I don't like to see stuff go to waste, so I think that's pretty sweet. That also applies to buffs, right?
Yeah.
Things like enhance.
Or debuffs.
Or debuffs. Enhance or buff or debuffs for allies or enemies. Things like fly as well and stuff like that. That to me is a very nice little feature that you stretch out the time that these last. It's pretty, cool.
Okay. And at level 10, you gain a new ability of Hastened. At 10th level, you add the Haste spell to your spellbook if it's not there already, and why wouldn't it be, in my opinion? You never have to suffer the negative effects of the Haste spell and can act normally when the spell ends. Oh, that's nice. You can also cast Haste without expending a spell slot, but the spell only affects you. Once you cast Haste this way, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long... Holy crap! A short or long rest. You can still cast if normally using an available spell slot. This is pretty good.
Well, yeah, considering Haste, doubles your speed, increases your AC, and gives you advantage on Dex save. In addition to, you can take an additional action on each of your turns.
Yeah.
What's the negative aspects of Haste?
When Haste wears off, you... when the spell ends, the target can't move or take action until after its next turn, as a wave of lethargy sweeps over it.
Yeah, you get a big debuff.
But that's and Haste is concentration for up to 1 minute. So was your previous level 6 feature is now 2 minutes.
That's huge. That's what she said. I think that's a really dope ability.
Yeah, and the fact that you get Haste back from this feature after every short rest.
Hey, Matt.
That's nice.
I think that's pretty dope. That is a really cool level 10 ability.
Yeah.
And it's free. It doesn't consume a spell slot.
Unless you use it with a spell slot. But yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, you can use it for free without consuming a spell slot. But
after
you
a
can
short
also...
rest.
Huh?
After every short rest, yeah. I just said that.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's a huge thing. Not only is it haste, making you super swift and fast, but every short rest and no spell slot cost. There's no reason why you wouldn't do this.
No. And yes, Sam, it's still concentration.
Yes, so you can't concentrate on something else because the spell isn't being changed. You're just getting it for free.
But Haste is a pretty good spell, though, so... Yeah.
Nobody's going to complain.
No.
What do you think about that,
Well, maybe your
Brandon?
enemies, but...
Yeah, enemies will. I slice you and dice you and cut you to pieces. What do you think?
I think that's...
Awesome?
I want to say awesome. I kind of want to say OP, but I'm not sure if I want to.
So
well, you're a time wizard, so...
Yeah. How would you see this being reflected in the way your character moves? I kind of touched on like the after image thing.
Yep. 2x speed.
Submarines twice.
Once.
Yes, I know. Submarines once.
Like a
Submarines twice.
I don't get it.
Holy jumping Jesus Christ. We go up, we go down, we don't even fuck around. It's a Submariner's poem.
Okay. Well, now I feel you've got a personal friend here that is just like you. Anyways, so once again, how do you guys envision this kind of working? Like I said, I already kind of figured the first one is the after image thing. What would you see like the flavor of that being?
You just move twice as fast.
So you're just moving fast, no visual effects or nothing?
Yeah. What else do you need?
Actually, what comes to mind is, remember when we used to play Bloody Roar?
Yes.
And you used
And
to
I would
play
kick your ass?
the little mole man?
Yes.
Or whatever? You know how whenever...
Haraku,
when he would dash, he would just appear in a spot, but there would be that trail behind him.
Ooh.
That's what I'm thinking, is that you move with such speed, but it looks like it teleported, but the only indication that you actually moved
It's like a little speckle of like
is the dust
dust
trail
trail
behind you.
that's
See ya,
really
Matt.
good. I like that. See you later, Cody. See you later, Matt.
Bye.
Or bye, Matt.
Oh.
I'm sorry your internet's garbage.
Did you try resetting your router back to its factory settings?
Or just plugging it right into modem. It worked for him. Oh, that's a good submission. Honestly, the reason I agreed to do this content is because I do believe it is far more balanced for testing than any other third-party content. So, anyways, that being said, I really like what you got there. I think that's a really good way to do it. Kind of like the shadow stepping, or not the shadow step. That's a thing in D&D. Kind of like the teleport step that you see in anime, where they move so fast, they're just there. I love the little subtle dust like pile kicking up.
Or kind of like picture like a Jagera or a Jatara from the Thundercats reboot, the good one.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
That's why it's off the air now.
Fair enough. So the next feature you get at 14th level is Time Mastery. I'm starting to sense a theme.
Do you think?
At 14th level, you can choose to ignore environmental time effects, such as those created by time storms and time rifts. Now, at first I assumed that these were probably unique to the setting, but there's no way they're unique to the setting. In D&D, we always talk about how random magic is and how it can randomly do crazy shit in the environment.
Yeah.
Which also means I now am going to be using temporal distortions in my games, because why I've never used those before? I don't know, like just random bubbles of, time stopping and slowing and shit like that. So you can spend temporal points to do the following. When you cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, you can spend 2 points and reduce the casting time to a bonus action.
Nice.
That's pretty baller. That sounds like the quicken spell, doesn't it? Like the meta magic from the sorcerer?
Yeah.
It's very much what that is. When you make... you want to take this one?
Wait a second. When you must make a saving throw against slow or any temporal spell, you can spend 2 temporal hit points to succeed on the saving throw automatically. You can make the decision to spend the points after rolling the die and seeing the result.
That's pretty cool. So basically, you're a time mage, so fuck anybody that tries to screw up your speed.
I slay it down. Nope.
As a reaction, when another creature casts Time Stop, you can spend 5 temporal points to act during the spell's duration. Holy shit.
Whoops.
You and the spell's original caster alternate taking turns, with the original caster acting first. You have the same restrictions as the original caster. If the original caster ends the spell, it ends for everyone. If you take an action that ends the spell, it ends only for you, not for the original caster.
And that's mostly like hurting people, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that seems fair.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, can you, like, that would just be awesome to role play out. Like, if the big villain didn't know your character was a time wizard, I would hope the DM would be like, why can you move? Stop. No, don't get any closer. I'll blow you up. It'll end your spell, bitch. So I really, this is awesome. I love the little flaking of the meta magic
Sorry, but I just had a
thing.
a spark.
Braveheart.
Yeah, you can smell it. No, like, if the big bad does not know that you can do this, what if you were to dive a little bit into rogue or something along those lines, where when you know that you get a sneak attack, it does going to do extra damage, and he comes up to you, and you can move the entire time, he doesn't know it, and you go, surprise, bitch! It's like, I'm going to ready an action. When he goes to attack one of us, I'm going to be like, nope!
Great. Now think about the fight from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures of Dio versus Jotaro. And basically, the main villain, he basically had the ability of time stop within a certain radius. Mm-hmm. And it turned out the main character discovered, oh, I have that ability too.
Convenient, right? That's plot armor.
Okay. Well, it kind of made sense though. I won't get into the details, but considering that Dio stole that power from one of his ancestors.
Oh. Dio's a bastard.
You have no idea.
Deep magic comes with many new spells, such as cantrip, quicken,
Don't go there yet.
decelerate,
Don't go there yet.
time vortex.
We won't go there yet. So, that's really the last feature you get of this. I think this is really nice. I love the peppering in of the meta magic. I love that you can move on another spellcaster's turn to cast Time Stop. That's really awesome because that's a pretty potent ability.
Yep.
I would say that if I was to play a character like this, I would do my damnedest.
I just basically, in my head, pictured me casting Time Stop. Now I'm going to raise a spell. The spell magic. What? We can move. Yep. Well, I'm going to cast the spell. The spell magic. But stop it.
So they wouldn't get no benefit of Time Stop except consuming spell slots. I like that. If I was to play a character like this, I think there's a really great roleplay opportunity with your timepiece. Being able to find a way to incorporate it in all your spell casting really seems like the ideal thing to do. Whether you click your clock and you cast stop time or something like that, or when you get into combat, you turn your watch or you flip your hourglass or you open up your pocket watch, and that's how you're channeling and casting your spell.
Or maybe it's a stopwatch.
That would be. Do they have stopwatches in a time like that? Oh, a sundial. Just don't let there be no light.
Well, there's a timepiece, so there's no reason for it not to be a stopwatch.
Yeah, I suppose. That's interesting. I like that. And like how you adjust it is how your spells goes. Like you can, spin it so it speeds up a little bit and cast haste on yourself.
That makes when I think of Time Stop, you pull out your pocket watch, you open it, and you put your thumb over the second hand.
Oh, that's cool.
And you're stopping time.
That's awesome. Very literal.
Yeah. I've been thinking Doctor Who this whole time.
Yeah, Sam says you can get a Doctor Who pocket timepiece as a good prop for the table. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Sam's going back to your mentioned your comment about the stopping time or not moving when they approach and then attacking or casting time stop. He's like, "Yep, I'm gonna cast stealth roll, plain sight, because he doesn't know I can move." Anyways, so that'll do it for the Arcane Tradition, the Keeper of Time. That is not from the Midgard Heroes Handbook, but there are many other really cool Arcane Traditions you got to check out. That's actually from the up and coming Deep Magic, the time. Hang on, let me actually look at the damn title of the thing. Oh, I think I closed it. No, I didn't. It's right here.
Timekeeper.
It's the Deep Magic Time Magic for 5th edition. Anyways, and I'm not really sure when that comes out, so that may come out by the time this is out. I don't know. The other thing that's really interesting about this is in the Deep Magic, you have access to all these different custom spells, and a lot of which fit with the timekeeping. Imagine that, time magic, right? And some of them are as simple as the Quicken spell, which is a cantrip. Actually, it's a cantrip. It's a cantrip. That I'm just gonna give you. What was it called? Quicken.
Yep.
Sam says, "Please plug the content properly. Who buy? Where can I get it?"
It's all by Kobold Press.
I think we already plugged that in, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like a million times.
Like when we started. But he probably was working.
True.
Let me see if I can find a release date for you, because he didn't give me one. I lied. It's out now. I think it's on their page.
That doesn't mean it's out.
It's got a couple of reviews.
Yeah.
It's only got 2 reviews, though, so it must have just came out. Hang on.
We're all flabbergasted right now.
Well, anyways, so by the time you hear this episode, you'll be able to purchase the Deep Magic. You can, in fact, purchase the Deep Magic, Time Magic from Kobold Press's website at koboldpress.com.
Or you can just Google it.
Or you can Google it. Yeah.
So that Doctor Strange.
But you do get some new spells. Like,
It does got the Doctor Strange in the same color, too, on the cover.
Yep. Anywho, obviously we covered that you get new spells with Deep Magic. We cover like Cantrip Quicken. You also gain Decelerate, Time Vortex, or Time Loop. I don't know what these do, but they sound awesome.
So Quicken is actually pretty cool. As a cantrip, it allows you to cast, and once before you use the spell ends, a target can roll a d4 and add that number to an initiative or a dex save, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You have some other ones such as Time Vortex, which This spell destabilizes the flow of time in the target area, subjecting the creatures caught into the vortex to temporal fluctuations that are visible as a spherical distortion with a 10-foot radius. Each creature within the sphere, when you cast a spell, must succeed a wisdom saving throw, and be affected by the time vortex. While the spell lasts, a creature that enters the sphere or begins its turn must succeed. Must also make a wisdom save. Once the creature's wisdom saving throw succeeds, it is immune to the effects. An affected creature can't take reactions and must roll a d10 at the start of its turn to determine the behavior of the character, such as the creature is affected by the slow spell or the creature is stunned. The creature's initiative result is reduced by 5.
Ugh.
That's interesting. It begins its new initiative at the next round. Multiple occurrences can affect the same creature, so it's cumulative, and the creature's speed is half. So you get kind of a random effect with the time vortex thing every time it begins its turn, which is pretty interesting. So there's a lot of really good different magical effects from Kobold Press. You can head on over to Kobold Press website and pick it up.
Good.
Released as of the 30th. Today's the 30th.
Yeah.
So yes, so those are available at Kobold Press. Definitely check them out if you enjoyed it. So I think that'll do it for our main topic today.
Yeah.
Before we move into our fourth and final segment, we have one more gift to give away, compliments of Loresmith. Ian, who's our winner today?
Our winner today is Lost Spectre.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
Why are you guys not in on this? That's part of the
You
fun.
gotta take a stand.
Y'all are
Don't
fucking
have
like
to hide.
boring as shit. Let's try again.
No.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. You gotta take a stand. It don't have to hide.
You happy? I did a
Yeah,
little
thanks.
dance.
Thanks, Sarah. She's rocking out. Ed,
No,
Be
please
gone.
stop.
Ed, you know what, Ed? I hope somebody shaves your beard while you're sleeping.
Oh, I feel bad for whoever does that. You have no self-respect. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, no, I get it. Except he's not actually right. What it is, I have no respect for you assholes.
So
Whatever.
you dance for us?
I dance for them. I don't give a fuck about you.
You rubbed your ass on me last week, okay?
Oh, you weren't? I didn't hear you complaining. Actually, I think you did. Congratulations,
Ugh.
Lost Spectre.
Lost Spectre.
Spectre.
Congratulations.
Sorry, Camden.
Congratulations, Lost Spectre. If you enjoy your adventure, please head on over to Loresmith and let him know what you think. Leave him a review, let him know what you like, what you didn't like, and help him improve his product moving forward. Moving on to our fourth and final segment, our unearthed tips and tricks. We have first, where we bring you new and creative content for you to bring with you on your next adventure. Our character concept is submitted to us by Adam B. This character, either a bard, multi-class, or an entertainer background, who is heavy into death metal style music,
Rock on.
looks hardcore, black leather pants, shirt with spikes, and even a spiked dog collar. Unfortunately, when he made his pact with his patron, the only one available was a unicorn. So,
What
his
the fuck?
Eldritch Blasts are essentially rainbow blasts, and all of his other techniques are colored to be fabulous. This is the Rainbow Warlock. What do you guys think about this?
This just made me think of the character Sparkle Lord from the webcomic Dr. McNinja.
Something similar?
Let me pull up a picture. You'll understand.
I just
What the
like
fuck?
can you imagine like just winging on your like if if you take the entertainer background or you can use this too. This is obviously specifically I designed for the Warlock. Oh, I said bard, but actually Warlock multi-class.
What the fuck?
So the character. Oh, jeez. So this character is likely a Warlock that's multi-class into bard or maybe even a background with the entertainer.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Closer. Fabulous. That's good.
It's just
Of course, Sam says if he ever gains flight, he will leave trails of rainbows.
I would love to see that because he's just all dressed in black and his old metal head. He throws out the horns and you just see a rainbow Eldritch Blast.
And the same thing when you're playing the guitar or playing one of your instruments, you know, rainbows are coming out and shit. I think it's just hilarious. Like maybe even if he's like a pack, if he becomes like a Pact of the Chain or something, or well, no matter which archetype he picks, you got to make the rainbow fit, right? So if it's a Pack of the Chain, his minion that comes out's like all fucking rainbow stripes and shit, looking fabulous. Maybe just their hair, maybe a little more subtle.
Or if you're a Hexblade, Rainbow Lightsaber.
Oh, that's awesome! I really think this is a cool concept. I would love to play something like this Warlock multi-class.
Tater, you'll be beaten to death for everything trying to associate with heavy metal.
Somebody makes a pack and all of a sudden Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony just pops up.
Well, think about this. If you didn't tell the players this, you just described yourself as this heavy metal guy and you're playing guitar and you're jamming and whatever, and then you go into combat, you swing on your guitar and frickin' rainbows come shooting out of it.
The Rainbow Warlock.
I would like just die, man. Oh my god. Savard asks if we've seen the Avenging Unicorn toy set. I have not, but
No.
that sounds glorious.
You talking about Apocalypse ponies? It's Pestilence pony.
Rainbow pony. So that'll do it for our character concept, the Rainbow Warlock. I'm gonna take this one. It's kind of long, and then you guys can have the next couple. So our monster variant today comes from listener Spencer S. It is known as it is the Magnetic Elemental. The origin for this will be the Earth Elemental. Before I get into it, I made some changes to these for balance purposes to keep them within the CR, but I kept a lot of the features in as close to what he asked and had in mind.
Right.
But in order to keep it a monster variant and not a custom monster, there was a few changes I did make, and I'm sorry about that, Spencer. You had a lot of shit for a monster variant that just made it way not a monster variant. So I had to make a few adjustments on the fly. Please send a letter to the complaint department.
Jeez.
So thank you for your submission. The magnetic elemental is formed of a liquid metal that is continually shifting and moving into a new form. The magnetic elemental lives within the deepest, darkest dungeons, where it is closer to the rare earth metals within the planet's crust.
Tasty.
You know what this reminded me when I first thought of it?
What?
The T-1000.
Yeah.
Like liquid metal and it can change shapes and shit.
Dun, 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 dun.
So the new features you're gonna get, there's 3 new features here. The first one had like 6 or 7 new features.
Dang!
Yeah, there's a lot. The first new feature you get is Unstable Earth. The magnetic elemental draws upon the rare earth metals within the ground towards itself, creating a minor earthquake in a 10-foot radius. Each other creature must succeed a DC 13 dex save or take 48 bludgeoning damage and fall prone. On a success, they take half damage and do not fall, and the area becomes difficult terrain.
Well, that's just, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
What's the CR of this guy?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
If it's a elemental, it's probably CR6.
Yeah, somewhere around there, 5 or 6. Might be 5, actually.
What?
In either case.
Well, I just know that druids can wild shape into it at high levels.
Oh,
so.
right.
And they can only do like one. And CR can only be up to 1/3 their level, so it's capped at 6.
The next feature they get is Magnetic Pull. As a bonus action, the magnetic elemental can attract metal weapons to its body. All creatures within 60 feet are holding a weapon that is made of metal must make a strength saving throw of 13. On a fail, the weapon is ripped out of their hands and flies towards the magnetic elemental. These weapons are then stuck to the elemental. Any attacker that grapples with the magnetic elemental or makes a melee weapon attack while at least one weapon is attached takes 1d4 piercing damage.
Change your own weapons against you.
Makes his own armor.
Unstable influx. The last feature is Unstable Influx. All weapons come flying off the magnetic elemental in any direction it chooses. Each targeted character within 20 feet must make a dex saving throw of 13 to dodge and avoid the incoming weapons. On a failed save, the creatures take 2d10 damage or half as much on a success. Increase the damage of the attack by 1d4 for every additional weapon beyond the first attached to the elemental.
Wait, D4 or D10?
D10. What'd I say?
D4.
Okay. 1d10 damage for every additional weapon beyond the first attached to the elemental.
Dang!
Okay, so we got 3 things we got to talk about here.
Part of your 5.
First, unstable earth. I personally love this because I love anything that changes the terrain and affects all the players.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is really cool because it can knock them prone. So I kind of envision like the rock, like pillars just bouncing up and down in all these different forms and really shaking the ground around them. Knocking them prone is huge. What do you guys think?
That's pretty much what I was thinking. I mean, there's not many ways you can think of an earthquake differently.
Yeah, well, you smash the ground and it just trembles and shakes, but I'm feeling like pillars are kind of like flying out as it's shaking, and bunching you and shit.
Shake it off.
And the fact that it leaves it as difficult terrain also is a landscape changer, which makes the combat more dynamic, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys
Which
think?
sucks because the people that are affected actually start their turn in difficult terrain.
Yeah,
And you're prone.
and you're prone. Which means if he hits you, it's going to hurt like hell. Advantage and shit. What do you think about magnetic pull?
Oh, you want to use that weapon? Too bad.
Or if it's only limited to metal weapons. What if the guy's wearing plate mail?
For mechanics, it specifically calls
Weapons,
Weapons, probably because
For that very reason.
it's probably lighter than trying to pull a whole guy in full plate. But what do you think about the weapon pulling?
Yeah, that could definitely mess up some melee characters.
Yeah.
That would just blow.
Well, yeah, because you have to go get your weapon.
Well,
Now,
it does.
if you listen to some of our previous player tips, carry multiple weapons.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it only talks about what they have in their hand.
Right, not what they're wearing. Maybe that's something that needs to be evaluated then. You could do it the other way around, something that they're carrying. Right? Like all daggers and shit, maybe? Sam mentions that maybe this would be an awesome lair ability. I think that would be really cool. With metal stalactites and shit.
Ugh.
Oh, that's cool. He says you can foreshadow the big boss at the end by having, the stalagmites made of metal or even maybe attached with like weapons and shit. I think this is cool because you are disarming the players. And that's something that doesn't happen very often. So that will be a bit of a surprise, I would think, for all of them to get disarmed. Then that's when the monk gets to shine. He's like, yeah, I don't need that shit.
Or a sorcerer.
Yeah, well, magic. And then, of course, the big one that we're all interested in. What do you guys think about unstable and flux?
That damage can add up pretty fast.
Yeah, it can. The more players there are, I mean, you could theoretically... The only issue I had with this, it says in the direction it chooses, and each targeted creature, which means it can target more than one.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it can focus all of them into one target or hit a bunch of targets and break it apart.
Suck.
Which I think is interesting. I probably personally would just change this to an AoE where it just blasts it out and sends it out in all directions. But I definitely think keeping in the spirit with this, being able to repel and control their weapons.
Well, it actually does say each character within 20 feet, so...
Well, yeah, I guess if they run away and keep their distance. Of course, if they don't. I think it's very cool that the damage increases the more party members and weapons there are.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Which is fantastic. What do you think about running into something like this, Brandon?
I'd have to wear my brown pants. Oh, you're reading? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Sam asks, he wants to know why a paladin or fighter in plate wouldn't be attractive. It might just be balance for mechanics. It could also be that it's heavier. I mean,
yeah.
A fighter in full plate is going to weigh more and be harder to drag towards you. But I can easily see having an environmental effect that anybody wearing metal, every round is dragged 10 feet towards the center if they use this ability.
That's an option.
Which could be interesting.
It could be an option.
So once
I
again,
can see someone bringing science into this too.
Yeah, fuck science. A place where you can snap your fingers and grant wishes is not a place for too much science.
Well, hot spinning metal creates a magnetic field. So maybe just dousing it with water will solve the problem.
Or just magic does.
Or just magic. Magic is how it works in D&D. Magic, damn it.
Magic.
Or you could just banish it to another plane of existence.
Oh, goddamn banish. I think this is a great monster. I think this would be an awesome big boss. Dweller in a mountain type of thing. Adding the magnetic flavor throughout the entire thing, much like Sam suggested with like the stalactites with either made of metal or The one thing I think is interesting is that it mentions the continually shifting. Every time it uses one of these forms, you should describe it looking slightly different, which I think would be really cool.
I just thought of one of these guys just standing there, and all of a sudden an EMP bomb goes off. You just watch him go flying away because of the magnetic pulse.
Ian, that'll do it for our monster variant.
For today's encounter, we have the Huntsman.
Don't read what's in italicized. That's just for our discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
A local huntsman has injured himself, or is getting old and needs some assistance as he is unable to tend to his traps. He requires assistance emptying and resetting his traps in the forest area around his home. Helping him now should hold him over till he can hire support, or his kid comes back.
Okay, so this is actually a pretty simple encounter, isn't it?
Yep.
So we have a guy here who says, I'm too old or I'm hurt and my traps are full I need you to clear the traps before the cold rushes in and I can't do it no more. Or it's not as simple. Can you help me?
Yeah.
What are some things you think that should happen in an encounter like this? How would you get the most out of this encounter? Because there's no really big bad in this, at least the way it's written.
Let me see here. Where did I put the trap again? Ah! Oh, there it is.
Looking for traps. We always talk about, how using a check should a roll from a check should drive the story forward, right?
Yeah.
If you're a survival check and you're looking for these traps and you roll poorly, maybe you find the trap.
The hard way.
The hard way. What do you think, Brandon?
That's a great way to go about it. Or another way is maybe he gives you a map of where some of the traps are, but he forgot where some were. But it's like, okay, there's one around this bush, and you look back there, and there's a fucking mountain lion stuck in one of them.
Oh no! So now this thing's angry and hurt and is caught in a trap. So if your goal is to bring the creature back, you obviously have to slay it, right?
Yep, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. But it still can be dangerous.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you catch something like, say, like a lamb.
Or a bear.
Or a bear. Well, something innocent, like a lamb. What does that mean? There's other predators. Does it draw something while you're trying to, free it and you're hunting around? Do you run into a big other sort of predator?
That would be great. You come along and you see a goat in a trap. It's going meh. And you hear a rumble. Then you look down at a little puddle of water and you can see ripples.
That like T-Rex.
Yeah,
You're
like
making a Jurassic Park reference.
Jurassic Park reference.
Sam says, would you say these are death traps or live? I would say you can do either or.
Whatever you want.
Whatever really floats your boat. Maybe a little bit of both. I know he mentions anything captured could become prey. I like that idea. You guys are sitting trying to collect these sheep and they're all injured, or these critters are all injured and making noises, and then all of a sudden, and the fucking T-Rex shows up.
You just look down and you see that puddle, you're like, fuck.
The other thing I think would be interesting
Oh, you
is...
hear predator clicking.
You do a predator click for us? You do a really... That's really good. The other thing that's interesting is if they are live traps, as Sam suggested, what kind of comes with that? Well, you have to get them all back. If you've got 20 traps full of critters, you now have to capture them and herd them around, creating kind of an interesting encounter where the goal is to, oh shit, this one got away, I gotta go get it and grab that one, and I come back and 3 more are missing, and you're doing this kind of treasure hunting, right? Where you gotta,
especially if you herd a sheep, because then it calls for wolves.
Oh, yeah, I like that. And then what happens if you lose some of them? Does the reward go down because you lost some of them in the woods and the forest? I think to me this would be a lot of skill checks, and you can easily add combat, but I think the hilarity comes from it in the different types of traps. Like, if this was like a really crazy guy, like not so much normal, what kind of weirdo traps could he come up with? What if somebody steps on one that you get slung into the ground, you're hanging upside down with your foot caught in this thing? And then, a mountain lion is kind of, roaming around underneath you while you're hanging from your ankle.
Or you step on a trap and then just an anvil.
Oh, God. That's ridiculous.
It was one of those, like, really out-of-place traps where you just step on it, you disappear, and you find yourself teleported 30 feet in the air. You're just falling.
What is Ed saying there?
The anvil says
what if the big bad is using his age or injury to trap you?
Oh!
Ooh, that's interesting. He could show up when the players go off on their own after an adventure. That's interesting.
That is neat.
Uh,
That old man can be a liar. I like to hunt the most dangerous game. Man.
oh, jeez.
Manatee.
Overall, I really like this encounter. It's simple, it's to the point, and it provides an interesting encounter that's not just kill everything.
And although he does prove that you can do a few things with that, so...
Never step in front of a pile of birdseed. Okay. That'll do it for our encounter of the podcast, the Huntsman. Brandon. Our magical item is?
All magical item.
Deckard Cain?
Hang on, I was just thinking that.
You gotta work it?
Yes. It sounds more like Sean Connery, but oh well.
Whatever.
All magic item for this week is the Thoughts and Prayers. Uncommon attunement. +1 to bonus to attacks and damage. A weapon created by a monk of a holy order. These golden knuckles glow with a radiance. Inlaid on the knuckles are some unidentifiable glyphs. An unarmed strike An unarmed strike made while wearing these may have its damage converted to radiant or physical damage.
Okay, that's nice. And the prayer she does go say thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. So I think I saw this as a meme where somebody posted some knuckles saying
Truth and justice.
That's funny too. It was a meme saying something about some brass knuckles naming them thoughts and prayers as you're beating people with thoughts and prayers, and I just was giggling like a little 5-year-old so much. Interesting. Did he say physical damage? It's supposed to be psychic. Do you want to read that last part one more time?
I heard psychic.
Okay.
Did I say psychic?
Say it again just to be safe.
Sam says big difference.
Okay, fine. It is a big difference. An unarmed strike made while wearing these may have its damage converted to radiant or psychic damage.
So what do you guys think of this? Brass knuckles named thoughts and prayers.
That do psychic or radiant damage.
Yes.
That's
It's better than whipping, ain't it?
Mark, you guys are never gonna let that go.
No.
No.
So the one thing that's interesting about these is it says you may, which means you don't have to.
Well, the biggest thing too, though, is to me is it increases the monk's versatility.
Yes. And psychic damage is one of the few that there's not. I don't think there's any enemies that are immune or resistant to it.
There's very few.
I personally can't think of any, but I thought this was an interesting one. I haven't seen any just like bare knuckle type weapons very often, so I thought this was a really fun one. It's simple and to the point, and you can say it really can leave a. I can't think of a good pun for that. It would leave a really thoughtful impression, maybe. That's bad. I need a better one.
Wow.
Do you guys got anything?
It wasn't bad, but
Sam does mention that some things are vulnerable to radiant damage. So, and this kind of, if you're the Keith energy ball blasting monk, radiant damage is not going to be that big of a deal because you can just send out blasts of energy anyway. But I think it's a really nice one. It's simple. The increase to attack damage and attack rolls and attack damage and damage is also really nice. It's simple and would fit a good monk. So if you got a monk that needs a customized weapon, this could be something you could offer to him. That'll do it for our magic item. Our Dungeon Master tip of the podcast is comes to us from DM to DM2 on Twitter. Title your session something relevant to your session itself. When the season or campaign is over, you can post the titles and see a small snapshot of the adventures you have been through. Now, I have done something similar to this, and I will tell you that writing out a title that's somehow based on a major event that happened, whether it's somebody doing a goof off or something that really stands out, it can create a really interesting thing to read through later because you'd be like, oh, I remember that sort of moment, which is really, really fun. And it's a great kick in the ass for when you're trying to do a recap. Now, I haven't done it probably since I went to 5th edition. So, because I used to have like a book in my 4E thing that kind of came with like a little, title page thing. You can just fill it out. Yeah. But this reminded me that I should do that some more often because sometimes it's nice to have something that you can read that really jars the memory of incidents that happen. And this is a good way to do that. Have you ever done anything like this, Ian or Brandon?
no.
It's a good DM tip, though.
What do you guys think about it?
I can definitely see why some people would enjoy that.
Yeah. And it's a simple one. It's something that, like I said, I did in 4th edition. I haven't done. There's a lot that I used to do that I don't do because honestly, I don't prep nearly as much as I used to. It's a lot easier for me in 5e than it was for 4e. So, mostly because the combat required so much work.
I liked it.
But I think this is a really pro tip. And even if you have like a running list, like a quest log, that just sits at the table when your players show up, and then they can read through it themselves and spark it. Then if you ask somebody, hey, who wants to, tell us what happened last time, a good, title to that adventure that relates to something that happened in the adventure might be a good spark for that, which once again encourages or helps with the memory of what happened. It helps stick in your mind.
What the hell is doing that?
What?
Watch the monitor.
What are we looking at? I don't.
That right there.
I don't see anything.
The blue in our camera keeps flashing.
No.
It was. I saw it for a second. That's weird.
I'm not
Who
saying
cares?
it.
Not important.
Yep.
So Sam actually says, "Lol." I Facebook event each of my sessions and give them all a unique name based on what I expect the players to do. You can scroll through the past events for a similar effect. Very cool. So I think it works. And something definitely good to do. I like that he uses a Facebook group. That's a really good way to do it because then you can have. We've talked about it on the show before, where you can have use Facebook groups to create shared conversations between your characters, which is pretty cool. That'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip. Title your sessions. Thanks to DM2DM2. Our player tip of the podcast is
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by focusing on your arcane studies. Arcane studies are going to be a small subsection of our player tips where we talk about spell combinations that work really well together. So in this spell combination, it requires 2 spells: Magic Mouth and Glyph of Warding. Now, do either of you know what either one of those do?
Yes.
Ian, would you like to give us a brief description about what each one uses or does?
Well, Magic Mouth is basically it gotta speak for itself. You
See what you did there? It speaks for itself. It's a
God
Magic
almighty.
Mouth. That's funny.
you enchant a section, you put a mouth there, and it starts talking, usually pre-recorded messages. Something like, hey, come here. I got something good for you.
It's really good. What is the
Beetlejuice?
Glyph of
Hey,
Warding?
come here! I got something good for you.
What does the Glyph of Warding do?
Quite a bit. There's a few things. Let me double check that. But go ahead and take it.
So the Glyph of Warding gives you a lot of different things you can do, but the most notable one is Glyph of Explosion. It basically creates a magical trap. So now imagine this, if you will, much like Ian just said. The magical mouth can be set to draw enemies to a wall, a statue, a sign, or some location, right? Hey, you. Yeah, you. Come here. I got something good for you. And, if enemies hear that, they're liable, or players, I guess. I would use this as a player. You can set that up to draw the attention of an enemy. Say maybe you put it on a statue, right? And the statue's talking to them and they walk up to it. The Glyph of warding, then you can set the condition or the trigger for the warding. So if somebody's within 5 feet, kaboom, it blows up. So not only are you setting a trap, but you're setting a lure onto that trap.
Hey, buddy, I got a message for you. Okay, what? I prepared explosive runes today.
Boom. And it's really nice, and it's a good spell combination. This isn't something that is meant to be done in combat. It would be something you as the player would have to set up in advance, right?
Yeah.
Put it on a mimic chest.
That is hilarious. You would have to convince the mimic chest to let you do it. Wait, what is the range on Magic Mouth?
Make me do weird.
Yeah, sorry. Magic.
Duh.
Don't you have an app for that?
Which I'm in. Okay, range is 30 feet for a magic.
There you go. So it's a ranged spell. So you don't even have. I'm going to ask you again. What's the range on the other one? I'm sorry.
I was just on that one.
Just go back and forth. It's fine.
No, it doesn't work that way.
I know it doesn't. It's not super great like that. Because if they're both ranged, you really can do it from a distance.
Well, Glyph of Worms isn't actually range as much as it's a stationary symbol you put on something.
So you have to be near it?
Yeah.
No, okay. But in any case, this combination can be a really potent combination, not just for killing enemies, but for creating distractions.
And it can't be bigger than 10 feet in diameter.
Well, that's fine. There's more rules to it, but that basically is the gist of the combination. What do you guys think about this?
Kaboom!
I think it's smart.
I like luring stuff into traps.
Jeez, Sam. This is a really good pro tip and a great combination of two abilities you probably wouldn't think go really well together. And you can get a lot of great use out of it. What was the other effects of the glyph of wording?
Well, there's like the explosive runes, which we covered, which can hurt a lot. And then there's a spell glyph, where you can store a prepared spell of 3rd level or lower inside the glyph by casting as part of the glyph. Okay.
So you can store a spell into it?
Yeah.
So like Gust of Wind, or something that knocks enemies back. Like Thunder Wave, like, hey you, come here. Like right on the edge of a cliff. Hey you, come here, I got something to tell you. Hey, watch your step. Boom. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. We hope you guys will use it. You can get a lot out of it.
Oh my god. I got something to tell you.
Dude, that's awesome. Sam says, can't you integrate alarm? Probably. You could probably add. I tried to keep it down to 2 spells, mostly because it's a lot of reading, and I'm a busy man.
Yeah.
But yeah, alarm you could too. you could say, hey you, come here, just a little bit closer, That's it. Though I don't think the alarm actually makes noise. I think it just sends like a telepathic signal.
No, it can make noise.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It can make an audible sound.
Anyways, I think that'll do it for our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick, and you can avoid dickitude by sticking to your arcane studies and using those combos. That'll do it for our show today. Before we close out, we have one more gift to give away. Compliments of Jeff Stevens. Hey, Brandon. Who's our winner today?
Our winner today for Jeff Stevens is Storm Shadow 2400.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you gotta take a stand, it don't have to hide.
What's the thing that the kids do these days? They swim in the front.
Flossing.
Is it flossing? Kids don't floss. What kind of bullshit is that? Who thought of that name?
Fucking Fortnite.
Congratulations to Storm Shadow 2400. If you enjoy the adventure, please head on over and let Jeff Stevens know. Leave him a review. Let him know what you like, what you didn't like, and help him improve his product moving forward. So, thank you so much to Wolfgang Baur and to Kobold Press for letting us work through your content. We really enjoyed it. We had a blast. It was really fun. The content you guys have made is absolutely awesome. If you're listening to this show, definitely support them. Head on over to koboldpress.com or check our show notes for a link and check out their amazing products. Not only do they have Heroes of Midgard, but they have an entire Midgard campaign setting that is just awesome. And of course, you know, they got other additional like spells and stuff through their deep magic books, their deep magic books. So definitely check them out. Please join us in our next episode where we hear feedback from you, our heroes. We will be discussing versatile NPCs with Darren Scott. If you do not know, Versatile NPCs is a nice collection of over 50 NPCs that he has written that includes, almost like monsters with essentially like character class levels and features and stuff, and some really unique stuff that is just awesome. And we hope you guys will enjoy it. So definitely stay tuned for that for next week.
If you have any feedback, unearthed tips and tricks, or topics you'd like us to discuss, please send them. You can email them to us at cragacademy@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Craig Academy.
We hope you've enjoyed your experience here at the Crit Academy. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving a hopefully 5-star review on iTunes or your platform of choice. Or just send us a message telling us how much you enjoy the show.
Be sure to give us a like and a share. Check out, you can subscribe to our show at critacademy.com so we can help you on your future adventures, as well as be entered to win cool prizes each and every week. You will also find our awesome fellowship members there as well. If you haven't already checked out Inter-Party Conflict with Gabe and Jeff, they do a great show that's similar, their entire show is similar to our Let's Talk About Blank segment where they answer your questions, and of course they have the funeral pyre, which is awesome. Also, make sure to check out D&D Character Lab. Garen and Dan do an awesome job of creating characters each and every week with great detail and then arguing whose baby is better against a predefined set of criteria that they have made, and it is hilarious to listen to. So definitely check it out. What's that say?
You'll have a good week.
Next week is Patreon Bells.
Yep, we'll
Next
see you
week
next
is
week at Patreon
Valentine's.
Bells. So definitely check them out. In addition, we have a huge group of our other patron, our Crit Nation, our other Crit Nation Fellowship members checking out Oricon's Lair, who does an awesome blog. You have Game Master Stash, which is just an awesome Facebook group. So definitely check them all out. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
I'm your host, Ian.
Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharpened, spells prepared, heroes.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
He's just going to edit that shit out.
No, I can overlap it, or we can just all say it at once.
Yep.
You want to do it all at once?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Ready, set, go.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
Woo!
All right, hey, thank you guys for joining us today.
Yep.
We hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. That's kind of long. I'm gonna take forever to edit this.
I was trying to say, guys.
Yeah, you did. Well, the wizard stuff is always long because there's so much you can do with it.
Well-
and we were trying to better understand the other one.
Well, it
too.
wasn't the wizard stuff that was a problem.
Sure it is. Don't take this away from me. It was definitely all the wizard stuff. What's worse is this.
It took us an hour to even get to the main topic.
Well, most of that'll be cut anyway. I have a lot of cutting.
That makes it worse.
We should probably wave to them and say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Tengo al gato los pantalones.